Time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Dart Talk carries the Internet Broadcast Rating TVD, a broadcast that is specifically designed to be viewed or heard by the darting community, and therefore may be incomprehensible to other lesser mammals. Darter discretion advised.
Okay, welcome to Dart Talk.
Welcome.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I am good. Steve Pronunciamino with Mystery Mark, and no chat room girl tonight.
I know. Sick.
She's sicked out.
It's crazy.
I'm suspicious.
I think the bullshooter took it out of her.
Yeah, nothing
Easy
like
for me to say.
Yeah, when you have a good holiday weekend where you can't make it to work the next day, then you kind of know you had a good one.
Yeah.
But this is Wednesday.
Well, she had a really good one.
Yeah, I don't know. Get well soon. We hope you two get well. I don't know. So we'll miss her.
Hopefully she'll be back next week.
Maybe during the break I'll get the bell and just ding once in a while, in honor of our in honor of Chat Room Girl. Anyway, Dart Talk brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. How was your weekend?
My weekend was fine.
I'm going to put the picture up because people were asking, what the deal the deal was with this picture. We went to a ball game.
I brought you to Sox game. You didn't melt.
I did not melt.
Which was nice.
As a lifelong Cubs fan, right, I really enjoyed a couple of things. I enjoyed that little, the bar in the outfield.
The picture's the bar. We're in the bullpen sports bar.
Right.
Watching batting practice.
Yes.
And it's no charge. You go in there. And the gates don't open till an hour and a half before the game starts, but the bullpen bar opens like 3 hours beforehand.
Right.
You go in there and you watch batting practice. One ball came over the fence and almost hit us, and one ball was given to us. So it was pretty cool.
I'm still having a hard time. I don't know what the Florida Marlin was that just kind of walked by the fence, and I'm reading the scoreboard like, how many RBIs does Cabrera have? And all of a sudden the guy's like, hey, here. And he just tosses me a ball over the fence, and I'm like, well, now that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you got one that was actually a home run somebody hit
He
that
hit the
rattled
back wall
around
against us and wound up by my feet. But we were talking; it could have easily hit us in the head.
Well, I was pretty close to the fence, but it was fun. I haven't been to Major League Batting practice since I was a kid, so I really enjoyed that. And so we both got souvenirs,
right?
And it was like kind of a birthday celebration for you. We surprised you after the show, but your birthday was last week.
It was,
so
yes.
Happy birthday to you!
Thank you. Yeah, and so my penance for bringing you to a Sox game is your Cubs are just putting the beat down.
Yeah,
putting the beat down.
It's for the Cubs. I mean, it's the World Series,
pretty much,
right? I mean, it's the only meaningful games we're going to play all year.
It's also proving to be that the White Sox are just mediocre as well.
Well, I mean, the baseball's not that good.
No.
And please, by all means, everybody in the chat room, no updates on the hockey game because that's all I really care about.
DVRing it.
And I am DVRing it, and I don't want to know what happened. So don't post any hockey scores, especially if they are in favor of the Red Wings. No, but it's going to be hard. But I mean, I actually wanted to sick out of the show just to watch the hockey.
I thought you might. I was waiting for the phone call. I was waiting for the call. Hey, can we do the show tomorrow?
But we have an audience and they're loyal, so we should be loyal as well. So welcome everybody. Thanks for listening. We got a lot to get to. We have dart results from all over the planet.
Everywhere. Yep.
We have Dartslive in Hong Kong. We have PDC. They had 2 Players Championships in Wigan or Vegan or whatever it's called.
Wigan.
They had in Dubai. They had the PDC Masters. where, Phil Taylor's still looking to hit a double. There was a big recreational soft tip tournament in Chicago. They had the Bullshooter.
Yep.
We got results from that. And then we have results from the Foothills Fling, which I believe was in South Carolina. Somebody correct me on that one. I don't know where it was. I just know it was somewhere down.
Yeah, I don't know.
Carolina, Georgia, something like that. So let's get the disclaimer out of the way.
Please.
The views and opinions expressed by guests on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect the thoughts or opinions of the hosts, our sponsors, any official Dart sanctioning organization, and post hoc ergo propter hoc, any and all spelunkers, debunkers, raconteurs, roustabouts, technocrats, hepcats, cat ladies, Lady Gaga, the Four Seasons, the Three Stooges, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, hipsters, kibitzers, hellions, the fickle finger of fate, or Tom Waits.
Anybody feel free to write us a new disclaimer, because I'm getting tired of this one.
Hearing the same one.
Yeah, I mean, we've been using it now for like a year.
Yeah, it's still useful.
And, well, it does disclaim any and all things, which is good. There's a couple of things I want to get to, so remind me, because we got a lot of results, and we'll have to get to them pretty frequently. But I did want to talk about webcam darts. I want to talk about a little more about slow play. Not to offend anybody, but I got something on that I got last night.
You actually think that's going to offend people?
Well, no. Who knows? I can offend people apparently
that's
by clearing my
right.
throat. Apparently, some people get offended. And then also, we got a nice email from somebody who's asking a question, like a dart-related question, which we used to do the best of 9 and stuff. We stopped doing that last year. But the guy's like, hey, what do you do when you got 2 darts in your hand and you're sitting on 50 in a steel game?
Mm-hmm. Well, a little bit depends on what the other person's at.
I don't really think it does.
No?
But
right.
so remind. I want to get to that before the show. Let's
before the show
or during the show, before the show ends.
Okay.
I want to get to that. So
we'll talk about it off air before next week. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Let's start with the PDC results. Now, there's 3 PDC results. You've got the Saturday Players Championship, the Sunday's Players Championship. Those
right.
were both in Wigan. And then there's the Dubai Masters.
The Dubai Masters.
So let's do
top
Wigan? 4. Yeah, do Wigan first. Wigan? Yeah, why don't you do that?
Out in Wigan on Saturday, you had the semifinals. Paul Nicholson beat Justin Pipe 6-3. Jamie Caven beat Robert Thornton 6-3, and then Jamie Caven 6-4 over Paul Nicholson.
Okay,
and
so Jamie Caven.
Sunday, semifinals. Jamie Caven wins 6-3 over Alex Roy with Yelly Clausen 6-4 over Andy Smith, with Jamie Caven winning 6-4 over Yelly Clausen.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. There's a couple of remarkable things that I'm a little curious about. Now, we were going to actually get Jamie on the show, and I sort of got involved with doing some other things. So maybe we can still get him on the show, and because I believe he's got a book out.
We seem to say that a lot.
Well, again, we don't have a booker.
Yes,
but
this is true.
He's got a book out that, I was hoping I could get an advance copy so I could read the book before I talk to him about it. Otherwise, you just sound silly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, gee, what's your book about? And how many pages is it? And what does it weigh? And is it in English? So, I mean, I'd like to avoid those kinds of questions if I can. So, but we'll try to get Jamie on the show because I haven't seen anybody sweep a Players' Championship when a guy was under the kind of pressure he was under. Because he had dropped out of the top 32. And it's the top 32 that really matters in the PDC because it gets you into all the TV events.
Right.
So he won enough money to go back up into the top 32, and now he's set for the year. He's going to play in every big event there is.
Nice.
Which, if you want to move up on the money list,
you have to
play
both to do it?
Or? I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
so,
impressive.
I mean, he had quite a weekend. Robert Thornton's still playing good. Justin Pipe's still playing good. Paul Nicholson still playing good. I don't find that remarkable. I find Alex Roy making the semi-remarkable. Mm-hmm. When I first started playing, he was a top 32 player. And I don't know what happened to him. There were a lot of guys that were in the top 32 when I started playing that sort of have fallen
Fizzled
off
out.
the map. Yeah, for one reason or another. I mean, some guys don't play as much. You've got more people putting time into the game now, so you've got somebody like Justin Pipe wasn't around 6-7 years ago, right? But the guys that were at the top, like Ronnie Baxter and Dennis Ovens, have like Peter Manley, I think was 4th when I started playing. They've started, falling off. Dennis Smith,
That's
all these
natural
guys.
Progression.
Well, I don't
think?
know. I mean, darters' age doesn't seem to hamper them, like it does.
Playing time does.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got people that are devoting more and more time to it, and if you can't match that, I have a feeling you're gonna have a tough time beating somebody who's that committed.
Well, yeah,
right.
That definitely makes sense. I think at all levels that makes sense.
Yeah. Now, Yeli Clausen, I haven't seen his name in a PDC thing for a long time, and I'm not going to go into what legal trouble he had, but hopefully,
there was some.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a big thing. So hopefully, that's all resolved. In a nice manner. I was shocked to see his name there, but obviously, he's playing pretty well to make a final. All these fields are tough. Best of 11 is considered a short format by PDC standards. So, yeah, good for him. I guess. I always liked the way he played. He played awfully fast. I thought too fast. So I'm curious if he's still playing as fast as he was. Right. If he's made any changes because he had kind of a layoff there. All right, so Dubai Masters.
Masters, you have top 4 James Wade and Andy Hamilton, RVB Raymond van Barneveld, and MVG Van Gerwen wins it.
Yeah, Van Gerwen basically, is now...
He's on fire.
Yeah, you got to figure him as being the man. I mean, I know that Phil beat him in the World Championship final, but outside of that, I mean, he's rolling over everybody.
Yeah.
And he's doing it. He's really doing it, from what I can tell. He's doing it with scoring.
So you didn't actually get to watch this, though?
No, I couldn't find a stream. It was... One of those was we were at the ball game.
Right.
And I had a nice weekend. I'm actually
surprised you weren't sitting at the ball game watching it on your phone.
Yeah, well, speaking of layoffs, there's, I've seen some posts from some people, and, I kind of make fun of it that it was a recreational tournament, but the Bullshooter tournament in Chicago, a lot of people take that seriously. Like, that's their big tournament of the year. And, a couple of people very disappointed with the results. It's going to happen. You only get one winner. But it's kind of funny.
Was there a big turnout?
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
I think their turnout's been declining every year.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons for that. I'm not going to we don't have time to bash them, and it is what it is. It's a soft tip tournament. Used to be huge. It's not huge anymore. It was just I found it ironic.
Just the way Chicago darts is, though.
Well, I don't know.
There's really no big tournaments around here anyway.
Well, again, it goes back to how do you rebuild your tournament population, which is something that, Chicago needs to do, Grand Rapids needs to do. I think Indianapolis probably needs to do it. I think, I was talking to somebody in Cleveland. They're like, well, the Cleveland people don't travel because there's so much stuff going on in Cleveland, they don't have to.
Okay.
That would be nice, to have something like that. So, I mean, if you build it, they will come. If there's something to play for, the players will show up. How do you develop players? We talked about that last week. I'm not going to reiterate all that. All right, let's take our first break. I was on a thought. I forgot what I was going to say. So
it'll come back to you.
Yeah. We'll take our first break. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mark and Steve, and we'll be right back. Okay, back for the second quarter, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Where were we?
Dartslive, or we were talking about the Bullshooter. Really,
Well,
you know.
Yeah, and I just found it ironic that they had the Dartslive the same weekend as the Bullshooter.
Did you go out to the Bullshooter at all?
Just to pick somebody up.
Okay.
You know, I mean, it was one of those things where I was kind of like, I wanted my dart vacation.
Yes.
I really wanted some time off from playing, and that ended on Friday. Friday, I went to a blind draw, and I got there an hour and a half early and actually got a board to myself for 45 minutes to an hour and actually went through my old warm-up routine. I had 10 double bowls, you know, one of every double, 25 trip 20s, and I threw like 4-ton 80s trying to hit my 25, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so by the time the blind draw was over, I'm like, well, my vacation's over. I guess I'm playing again. But I hadn't picked up a soft tip dart, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go to this tournament and like start whipping soft tip darts. You know, it's just, even though I've lightened my darts and I'm now down to like 22.5 gram darts, I still have to go to 18s to play soft tip, and I just wasn't going to do it. Plus, I didn't know what events they were playing. I mean, if I would have known that they were going to have like a 13-inch singles thing, I'd have probably played it. You know, so it's like whatever. I didn't really care. But we do have results from the Bullshooter. Let's do Dartslive first.
Dartslive will be quick. You got stage 2 with top 4 Takahiro Suzuki with Mitsumasa Hoshino for top 4. Paul Lim second, and Scott Kirchner wins Dartslive stage 2. Right,
and congrats to Scott Kirchner. I actually got a chance to watch some of it. I fell asleep, so I didn't get a chance to see the final. But I was watching, you know, Scotty played really, really great cricket. You know, he's throwing like 3 or 4 9-counts around, which I assume all the good players do, but for one reason or another, they don't seem to when I'm watching.
Right.
You know, but he absolutely crushed Paul in the final. I mean, he averaged like 6.8 marks around in 2 legs that Paul went first in both of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I've always said if you want to win a Dartslive,
first.
Yeah, if you want to win a Dartslive, you've got to break a guy's throw in the cricket. Well, he broke him twice, so I mean he should get something extra for that. Plus, I believe he won the shootout, which is that little count-up game. You throw one at every triple,
and you count them.
And yeah, it's a little more complicated than that. And then I don't know, you get a few $100 if you win, but that's how they determine seeding. So there were some brutal like top 64 matches, top 128 matches. I was like, wow, check this out. I mean, so it was, some of the earlier matches were more compelling than usual because sometimes you get like the 4 seed against whoever finished 4th from the bottom in the count up, and those matches don't take long.
Okay,
you know,
right. Yeah, that makes sense.
And to be honest, you know, that what I really like about the Dartslive in Hong Kong is that they will get people that obviously have not been playing very long in a big major event, and they don't care if they win or lose. They got a smile on their face when they're done.
They're just out there having a good time.
Well, they're not just there for the beer. I mean, they're not just there to have a good time. They're there to do the best they can, and they realize that their chances of winning probably aren't that great, but they do it anyway, and they do the best they can. And then when the match is over, they got a huge smile on their face. Thanks for playing. I mean, they have. Always seems to me they have like the perfect attitude where, you know, like you're talking about like Chicago darts, like, oh, I don't want to play that. You got no chance of winning.
Exactly. Right.
You know, it's like, what are you playing for then?
Yeah.
You know, if you're not willing to play anybody, then what are you doing? You're just having fun?
Right.
Then, okay, that's fine.
You're have
fun.
Well, you go out there and hope that your draw goes in your favor, and if it doesn't, you sulk and, oh, nuts.
Well, I mean, I just don't understand not playing in a tournament because you don't feel like you're going to win. That isn't what tournaments are about, and there's only one winner anyway.
Right.
I mean, they got 128 players in Wigan. Jamie Caven won both days. But if you look at the top 4, they're all different people. I mean, you know, one day you're better than the next day. I mean, how do you I'm not going to go to that tournament because I don't have a chance, or I don't want to play AA Pro because those guys are too good, or I want to stay an amateur, and if they put me on the pro list, I'm not coming back for 3 years. I never understood that attitude. Never understood it at all. Anyway, let's run through. I'm going to do this as fast as I can because there's a lot of results.
Want me to time you?
Wow. That's actually not a bad idea. We should have like a little tick, tick, tick,
Yeah.
tick, tick thing in the background.
And then I can ring the bell.
Anyway, the first event at the Bullshooter was a 4-person freeze rule 01 thing they call Monsters of the Midway, which, and there's Larry Butler in a Monsters of the Midway shirt where it's got like a picture like the Hancock in Sears Tower. And I went to him last year. I'm like, the Midway is by the University of Chicago.
Right.
That's where the Midway is. Get it right, okay? Monsters of the Midway. I mean, those are the bears, okay?
Yes.
I didn't see any like little bears in the background.
Hanging around the Hancock Center?
It's like if you're going to name something, at least know why. God, it kills me.
Apparently.
It's like I've said before, if you're going to plagiarize something, know what you're plagiarizing. Right. Know what Monsters of the Midway means. Google it, Wikipedia. Do something so you know what it means. So, yeah. So, anyway, I don't know. Anyway, the some of these we're just going to have the finals. So second place in the Monsters of the Midway, Danny Delfino, Darren Young, Ray Carver, and Larry Butler. And the winners were Danny Baggish, Soldier, Leonard Gates, Timmy Nickel, and Scotty Burnett. Congrats to them. Now the men's B team, I don't know if this is amateurs or what, but second place was Ed Jones, Spencer Lawrence, John Martika, and Dan Dams from Racine. The winners were Adam Savata, Eric Barron, Mark Miller Jr., and Justin Carr. Congrats to them. For the women, they had an AAA team. Second place, Diana Castile, Janine Warmerdam, Crystal Van Erp, and Betty Van Kirkle. I don't know. Betty Van. The winners were Jennifer Carpenter, Shay Reynolds, Wendy Espinoza, and June Leahy, Junebug. Women's B team, these must just be amateurs, right? Tammy Lee, Mia Bullard, Nisha White, and Summer Jackson. The winners, Jenny Huston, Lil Starr, Candy Bailey, and Kathy Decker. In the men's on Friday, they had a Top Gun cricket singles. Top 4, Brian McConnell and Jeff Springer. Second place, Nick Lindberg. And the winner was Danny Lobby. So are those like not pros?
You're asking the wrong person.
Well, okay.
Yeah, because you have the Top Gun men's singles, but then you have the Top Gun.
I don't know how they determine who's what.
Pro and pro,
double A,
right.
Single A, whatever. I don't know how they do
but
this stuff.
But they have two different events, so that those must not be pros.
Okay. Yeah, right. Well, Nick Lindberg's an amateur. Okay. Congrats on second place there, Danny. They'll all be pros next time around. And Danny Lobby, the winner there. Congrats to him. Top Gun Pro and Pro Double A, Julio Barbero Gonzalez and Ray Carver top 4. Darren Young second. Larry Butler beat him. Congrats to those guys. A lot of steel players. Women's Top Gun singles. All right, so this must be amateurs.
Yes.
Jacqueline Fowler,
right.
Christina Dunn, Angela Berguglio, and Stacy Pace. And for the pro women, Carolyn Mars and Patricia Pluff, top 4. Paula Murphy second to Shay Reynolds. Well played by them. Top Gun mixed triples, top 4. Mike Patterson, Tammy York, and Brad Eckenrode. Terry Dalton, Kimberly Tunn, and Robert King. Second
nice
place,
name.
yeah.
Kimberly Tunn.
Right.
Perfect for darts.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
good dart name. Second place, Gary Boyd, David Price, and Margaret Hemsath. And the winners were Eric Barron, Donna Murillo, and Adam Savata. Oh, nice. Congrats to them. I know those must have been the amateurs because this is Top Gun Pro and Pro Double A. This is just ridiculous. Okay. Top 4, Ben Dersh, Soldier, and Wendy Espinoza, Brad Porter, Kevin Jenkinson, and Jerry Stein. Second place, Nick Lindberg. That's Kim Keller. They got Kimberly Pogmoller. And the winners were Julie Wager, Scott Mistretta, and Scotty Miller. Congrats to them. The Milwaukee Zoo Hammer Cricket.
This is Chicago.
I don't know what this is.
But we have a Milwaukee Zoo
I don't know what
hammer
this
cricket.
is. I don't know
All
what
right.
hammer cricket is. Tied for third was Trish Gresick and David Jimenez, John Schulte, and Jeff Moles. Second place, Chad Blauser and Dan Hawkins. Winner, Pooh Bear, Joel Chmiliak, and Justin Carr. In the
His nickname is Pooh Bear?
blind date draw, fourth place, Mark McLaughlin and Eliza Martinez. Third place, Chris McCowan and Lisa Bastian. Second place, Darren Kaiser and Mindy Skinner. And the winners, Murrow Borkenhagen and Wendy Madison. Congrats to all them. I actually saw the final. That was like kind of fun to watch. All right, Saturday pro doubles, pro double A doubles. Fourth place, Leonard Gates and Eason Veljic. Third place, David Cameron and Jason Barlow. Second place, Larry Butler and Mike Maloney. And the winners, Ray Carver and Darren Young. In the pro 501 doubles, so they got two things of pros. They got pro A and pro double A.
Right.
I don't know what the cutoff is.
And then
fourth place,
men's,
and then you have
events
amateur. That. Okay. So fourth place, Richard Sutton and James Tiedemann. Third place, Kurt Tyson and Mike Stadler. Second place, Nathan Borland and Ryan Farrell and Ramiro Jr. Guevara. And Alex Reyes won the pro 501 doubles. I think Nathan Borland's name's going to come up in the singles. Men's 501 doubles. Oh, so that was pro.
Right.
Okay. Fourth place, Mark Miller Jr. and Justin Carr. Third place, Mike Patterson and Brad Eckenrode. Second place, Nick Lindberg and Terrence Sims. Winners, Zachary Dunbar and Andrew Crane. In the women's AA 501 doubles, Wendy Espinoza and Patricia Pluff. Second place to Paula Murphy and Shay Reynolds. In the women's A 501 doubles, Betty Van Kirkley and Catherine Lewis. Third place, Sharon Sontag and Janine Johnson. Second place, Christy Davis and Margaret Nieto Vanham. And the winners, Stacy Pace and Carolyn Mars. Nice to see those names. In the women's B 301 doubles, Leslie Anderson and Elisa Gata. Third place, Deborah Patterson and Ashley Patterson. Second place, Jennifer Evans and Amanda Shamhart. Second place, Kristen Schlossler and Amanda Primmer. First place in the women's B 301 doubles. In the men's 501 doubles second chance, Kerwin Lloyd and Derek Beebe. Second place to Ryan Weil and Scott Dubois.
Would that be like a consolation?
It looks like it. Second chance, yeah, has to be.
I would think.
Pro and Pro A 13-inch luck doubles. I can't take much more of this. Second place, Benny Dersch, and it's got to be Eddie Morales, Big Papa. First place, Soldier and Jason Barlow. Mixed cricket doubles. Fourth place, Scott Sandberg and Angela Snyder. Third place, Mark Miller Jr. and Jennifer Carpenter. Second place, Joshua Robinson and Kelly Mears. Winners, Paula Murphy and Brad Eckenrode. Congrats to all those players.
We're on to Sunday.
Super 13-inch singles. Danny Baggers, second place to Soldier. I saw that final. Leonard played really good. First place, Leonard Gates. 13-inch luck of the draw. Rob Matuk and Rob King. Winner, Jeff Moles and Jeff Cohey. In the women's bull riding, congrats to Kim Keller. She won that. International Team Championship. Second place, Spain. The Americans won that with Bob Hudzik, Benny Dersch, Scotty Miller, and Eric Blackledge. Women's A and AA combo luck. Killing me. Julie Weiger and Denise Davis, second place to Lisa Bastian and Lisa Yee. Congrats to them. Women's B combo luck. Top four, Kim Keller and Tammy York. Third place, Jennifer Hahn and Donna Murillo. Second place, Adrian Gregory and Patricia Osterheld. And the winners, Stacy Pace and Denise Shelton. Stacy Pace having a good tournament. Men's 501 singles. Second place, Nathan Borland. The winner, Stephen Zolfagari. Bloomington, Illinois.
Zolfagari, yeah.
Sorry about that. Pro and Pro AA mixed doubles, Jay Barlow and Weevil. Fourth place, Paula Murphy and Easton Veljic. Third place, Diana Rutherford and Dave Cameron. Second place, Shay Reynolds and Darren Young won that. Must say, Dave Cameron played awesome. I actually saw the third place match. Mm-hmm. That they beat Paula Murphy and Easton Veljic, and David Cameron played really, really well. And I actually saw him play a couple of other matches. It was like Dave Cameron for like 3 hours, and he played great every match.
Nice.
And he had one bad round in the final, and they lost by one leg. So congrats to him. Mixed 701 triples, fourth place, Adam Savada, Eric Barron, and Donna Murillo. Third place, Mark Miller Jr., Leslie Garner, and Patricia Cook. Second place, Matthew Wallace, Daniel Broyles, and Lori Hendershot from Hendershot, Florida. That can't be right. And the winners were Nick Lindberg, Julie Yoakum, and Terrence Sims. Monday events, Pro, AA, 501 singles. Fourth place, Brad Oxendine. Third place, Larry Butler. Second place, Dave Cameron. First place, Eric Blackledge. Congrats to them. Pro 501 singles. Okay, that's Pro A, I guess. But Patrick Cook, second place to Soldier. Leonard Gates won that. Women's AA cricket doubles. Wendy Espinoza and Patricia Pluff, third place. Debbie Ivy and Diana Rutherford, second. Julie Wager and Lisa Yee, second to Shea and Paula. Shea Reynolds and Paula Murphy won that. Women's A cricket doubles. Denise Davis and Suzanne Lawson, fourth. Mary Beth Collins and Julie Jennings, third. Mary Ferguson and Missy Arredondo, runners-up to Stacey Pace and Carolyn Mars. I guess Stacey Pace must have won like the women's MVP.
Yeah,
she's in almost every event. Women's B cricket doubles. Second place, Tracy Olson and Jacqueline Fowler, and the winners, Christy McClure and Carrie Brown from Granite City, Illinois. Pro AA cricket doubles. Ed Shopey and Robert Walton Jr.
Is this a week-long tournament?
I'm telling you. Third, Leonard Gates and Easton Veljic. Second place, Scotty Miller and Ben Dersh. And the winners, Julio Barbero Gonzalez and Martin Marty from Spain. Won that. Pro cricket doubles. Todd Jordan and Jeff Springer, runners-up to James Grayton and Arnold Schultz. Men's cricket doubles. Fourth place, Nick Lindberg and Terrence Sims. Third place, Kerwin Lloyd and Derek Beebe. Second place, Carlos Saxby and Steven Zunker. The winners were Vincente Perez and Dan Brooks from Boise, Idaho. And those are your Bullshooter results.
Woo!
Can we please take a break now?
We can.
We'll be right back. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mark and Steve. Okay, back for the second half, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Redwood Darts, which do exist, by the way. And,
Sweet.
Windy City Fabricators. A couple of things. I wanted to talk about slow play.
Yeah.
Right? Scotty Kirchner won the Dartslive, and I got to watch him play at least one match where he played really good before he fell asleep. And, he does the Phantom Dart right before he starts.
He fell asleep? Before you fell
Before I fell asleep. He won.
Okay.
He didn't fall asleep.
All right.
No, he played really well. Played, awfully solid.
Mm-hmm.
He played kind of the way I expect all the top players to play when they play in these events, and for whatever reason, they don't always do it.
Sure.
So, I guess that's
so he's got the Phantom Dart.
Right. He'll go to the line.
Yeah.
And I do not understand why he does it this way. So here's what he does. He gets to the line, does a Phantom Dart. Mm-hmm. Then he rocks back, gets back on the line, and gets set again. And I'm like, if you're going to do a Phantom Dart, why are you rocking off the line?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just stay there? But, this is kind of how he does it. So, okay, fine. The reason I bring this up is because I was talking to somebody at this blind draw about are you slow, right? or are you just deliberate?
Okay.
Right? You remember how Sergio Garcia got in this thing where he was regripping the club, and at some point the gallery started counting.
Right. And Kevin Nod did the same thing.
Right. I watched. I DVR'd something I'd never seen on the Golf Channel. It's like the title of the show is Greatest Golf Rounds or something like that. So I saw one from the 1971 U.S. Open, and I'm like, really? Okay. So I DVR'd it and I watched it. Jack Nicklaus needed a birdie on 18 to win it, and a par would put him in an 18-hole playoff on Monday with Lee Trevino.
Right.
Trevino had bogeyed 18. And it's they're playing outside of Philadelphia at Marion Country Club, which looked like a goat pasture. I mean, it looked horrible. It looked like they had let goats around the sand traps and stuff. I mean, It didn't look anywhere near manicured like you see nowadays. It's like 1971. Okay, so whatever. They're hitting wood clubs and balata balls and all this stuff. So I'm watching Jack Nicklaus, and all of a sudden I realize this guy is a walking rain delay.
Yeah,
this guy is so freaking slow that if anybody goes on a public course and does what he does, they'll throw you out after 4 holes. They'll be like, "Who do you think you are, Jack Nicklaus?" Well, let me tell you something. If they made him play quicker, would he be as good?
Probably not.
Well, and Lee Trevino was beating his butt all year anyway.
But at one point, they had to play quicker. But when you get onto the Pro Tour, you have a little more time, don't you think?
I don't know. It just strikes me as being like, here's a guy that literally, he was Sergio Garcia. He was so slow and so deliberate. It's like, well, if it's good enough for the top players, then everybody should get to do it. Well, okay.
Yeah.
How long is this event going to take now? So I don't consider Scott Kirchner slow. I consider him deliberate.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with being deliberate, but if you watch some of the...
Well, I think it would be different if Kirchner went up there one time and did like 5 phantom throws, and then the next time a couple, and then he just couldn't get himself set. I could see that. But if he's got a routine,
right,
that would make sense.
And it looked to me like his routine was very, very consistent. He would do his 1 phantom dart, and that would be it. And I'm kind of like, we've had problems.
Do people think he's slow, though? Is that what
I don't know. I think, because he's so successful, it's kind of like, how dare you criticize a guy that good? Well, I criticize anybody I feel like.
Oh, you're not criticizing him, though.
Well, I'm really not. But
I was wondering if other people were.
Well, no, but the idea of slow play. Like, you remember we went out with Sassy, and she does the phantom dart and all this other stuff, and I'm kind of like, well, okay. I played with a guy in the blind draw Friday night that was, I couldn't decide whether he was deliberate or slow, but he was right at that border where it's kind of like at some point you want to yell, "Get on with it."
Yeah.
I
mean, throw the dart.
Well, you're going to have to at some point.
Exactly, right.
So I'm curious now in my head, what is the cutoff between deliberate and slow? Because you need to discourage slow play, but if somebody's deliberate, you can't really complain. So I know that the last rule I saw written was you had like a minute between darts. That's way too long.
That's a long time.
That's way too long. So I'm wondering if, not that you got to start pulling stopwatches out or anything like that, but it seems to me that if you can't deliver 3 darts in 30 seconds,
right,
even if you have to think that, okay, the first couple of times maybe you get a warning.
That could be. I mean, that could still be set, though, because what about that one pressure dart that you might...
Well, you get confused. In doubles, you got to talk to your partner, hey, what do I do here? But you call timeout. You get 3 timeouts or something. I mean, there needs to be something in place just in case you get 4 people that are walking rain delays and they hold up an entire event for an hour and a half. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with
I mean,
that.
we need something in place. We need some sort of time guidelines that are fair and universal enough where...
3 minutes for all 3.
3 minutes for all 3 is a joke.
That's even worse.
3 minutes.
That's even worse than 1 minute between darts.
If everybody did that, if everybody took 3 minutes for every round,
it would be a week-long tournament.
That'd be the end of these tournaments with 8 or 9 events. Yeah. I'll tell you that right now. It'd be the end of it. You'd have a hard time getting one event if everybody took 3 minutes, and there's no reason to take that. Now, okay, you break a shaft, you break a point, you got to dig the shaft out, you can dig the threads out or whatever. Okay, there's one of your timeouts, whatever. I mean, we need to have something in place to keep things moving along and then kind of get the rules out there where everybody knows, okay, this is kind of, because every league sets their own rules. 3 minutes to throw 3 darts is like, are you kidding me?
What's the penalty then?
I don't know. You lose your turn. At some point, you're going to lose your turn.
Right. Or at least 1 dart or whatever.
No. You can't. 1 dart. I mean, no, you can't do it that way. You'd have to just kind of say, all right, your turn. Yeah, you're skipping your turn. Right? Oh. I mean, you can't penalize the other team who's waiting around. Well, I can see this, leading to problems if you don't have officials.
Well,
right?
Sure. Absolutely.
It was just a thought. When I was watching Jack Nicklaus, I'm like, oh, my God, he's Davis Snyder.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops, I said it. Sorry, Davis. Well, there are guys that struggle. I've seen guys who are coming over like dartitis and stuff like this and really have a hard time getting the dart out of their hand, but they're trying to play, and you have to encourage that.
Yeah.
But at some point, it's
like, yips.
At some point, it's like, come on, really?
Mm-hmm.
Come on. 3 minutes to throw 3 darts? I mean,
it's a long time.
We need something in place, is all I'm saying. There's got to be something. And I didn't really see anything in the DRA that I thought was exhaustive enough to cover, situations like this. So somebody's going to have to get to work on that. I did want to talk about webcam darts, but first, okay. Let's say you got 2 darts in your hand and you're sitting on 50.
Right.
This was somebody emailed this question and really wants to hear our take on
steel
this.
tip.
So, yeah, in steel tip. In soft tip, you go for the bull.
Yeah.
If you're allowed.
And you're saying it doesn't really matter what your opponent's at?
No.
Okay.
No, and I'll tell you why. Because if you're going to get 1 dart at a double, you don't want it to be double bull. You want it to be a real double.
Right. So you'd go trip 10, single 10.
Yeah. Well, I would go fat 10.
Or
I'd go. Actually, I would go personally.
18.
I'll do fat. I don't tell anyone else to do that, but yeah, I'll go fat 18. Absolutely.
Because you can bust.
Fat 18. Yeah. You don't want to throw at a number that can bust you.
Right.
So I would tell all the beginners you throw fat 10 tops, fat 10 tops, fat 10 tops. I don't see any compelling argument for going for the bull. And apparently this happened in Michigan where somebody went for the bull. The problem with going for the bull,
I don't see it either. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, look at all the bad things that can happen.
Not let alone just the single
right.
bull.
If you miss, your odds of having 1 dart at a double aren't very good.
No, not
right?
at all.
They're not very good at all. If you can't hit a fat 10, which I've heard the argument where, well, I'm good on the bulls. It's like, well, pretend the fat 10's a bull then and hit it, and then pretend the trip 20's at bullseye and hit that.
I'm good on the bulls, but really, are you hitting a double bull that consistently where you're really that good at the bulls? I don't think so.
No.
Not a chance.
Come on. I mean, that's not true.
Yeah.
I do know that I've seen people take the shot at the double bull.
Mm-hmm.
And every time they hit it, it makes them a worse dart player because it's more likely that they're going to do it again.
Doing it, sure.
And I challenge anybody to try it 10 times. Do it 10 times where you go fat 10 tops, and then 10 times where you just throw at the double bull, and see how many times you finish a game. I guarantee you,
your percentage is going to be higher fat 10 double tops.
Yeah, unless it's a fluke. The other reason that you don't go for the fat 10, and I think I've said this, I don't know, maybe it was last year, is that the vast majority of players, their best double is either double 20, double 16, double 18. Some people go in 301, double 14, double 10, whatever.
Right.
Your odds of blowing by all your best doubles are pretty good.
Yeah.
If you throw a single bull, well, not only are you not going to have a finish, but now you've blown by your best doubles,
right.
and you're going to leave, if you're playing doubles, you're going to leave your partner on an awkward art. You've turned a 1 dart out into a 2 dart out. How is that a good thing?
No,
right?
I completely agree.
I don't see. I cannot find any compelling argument at all for going for a double bull there. I think it's asinine.
People like the glory of it. Doesn't make
any sense. The glory
sense.
comes from winning. It doesn't
exactly. I agree with you. I'm just telling you what. There's a thought process there, even though it's wrong.
It was like I was playing. I was playing in Alabama. And I was on, I forget what I was on. I was on like 121, and some guy's watching that I'd played earlier, and he's like, oh, do it the cool way. And I'm like, well, what's the cool way? So I kind of forgot about it, but I went for the trip 20 and threw a single. Well, I'm on 101 with 2 darts. I mean, there's only one way to take that out, right? So I took it out. And he's like, oh, and I'm like, well, I'm glad I took out the 121, but I don't care how I take it out. I just care that I did. Right?
Exactly.
Ending on 0 is your goal.
Right.
That's where the glory comes in, right?
Yeah.
You don't get.
It doesn't matter whether you hit 2 double 8s going for double 16.
I really fail to see the glory in doing things like that. Like
right.
I don't. If you're on 132 and you throw a double bull on your first dart and you're on 82 and you stay there and you hit it and then you hit the double 16 and you've taken out your 132 double bull, double 16. It's a great finish, but there's only 2 ways to do it really. Once you get the first double bull in, and you have to go to go bull to maximize your chances.
Right.
Absolutely. So if you hit a single, you're still on a 2 dart out.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do? You're going to move to the trip 14 and then throw tops when you've just hit a double bull and you're right there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
here's the other
something else has popped into your head.
Well, yeah, because I went to this blind draw Friday night and they had a triples pot that was over $2,000 a dart in steel, which is very rare for this one blind draw. And I saw a guy. I'm not going to mention his name because I'm not out to embarrass him, but I'm going to make an example of him. So here's what he does: he goes at a line, they roll the dice. He's got to hit triple 11. Every triple 11 he hits is worth like $2,500, whatever.
Right.
Puts the first one right in the top corner of the triple 11. Literally for whatever, $2,500, whatever it was, $2,371. I don't know what it was. So he literally just parks it right in, just in the dead center of the corner. It's wide open, and what does he do? Raises up his hands. Hey, I hit one, and kind of walks around, tries to high five some people, and I'm just like, what?
And then
he goes
back. Why would you lose your concentration?
Well, he goes back, and now he's got to set up again, and he puts one kind of dead center inside wire and then misses the last one by about half-inch outside. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he won his $2,500,
which is nice.
So he's happy. But, you're right there. Why on earth would you get off the line?
Because your goal should be getting $7,500.
I just thought it was like anybody who's in this hotshot thing, go to the line ready to hit all 3. And if the first one goes in, an experienced professional, the second dart's going to be out of his hand as fast as he can.
Yeah.
The hardest thing to do is set up correctly. You're set up correctly. Now throw your darts. Don't look around for applause.
Well,
get that after. You get your $8,000.
Yeah.
And then you get a lot of applause, right?
And
buy a round of drinks
right.
and buy a new car, whatever. I don't care. I was astounded. And here's a guy that, he's a, kind of a recreational player, but he's been around for like 20 years. So you'd think he'd know better. So I got excited,
Yeah,
whatever.
I know there's alcohol involved too, though, and your emotions take over. But I do agree with you.
They had 70 people in this draw at Dies Den. I've never seen anywhere near that many people at a blind draw at Dies Den before. And
all for the hot shot?
Well, yeah.
Basically?
Well, yeah, because you're only they cap it, so you can only buy $20 worth of tickets. So everybody has an equal chance. It's not like some of these things where somebody flies in with $3,000, which stacks the odds in his favor. Now, if you're not putting in $3,000, his odds are better than yours. Why would you play that?
Yeah.
It's not fair. Why would you draw against a made hand or play against a rigged deck? It's silly, and people do it all the time. And maybe I'll get picked. It's like, oh, well, okay, pretty. Honestly, why would you give somebody a head start and race them?
Unless you knew you were going to win.
Well, but you don't.
Right.
Yeah. Well, if it's rigged, that's something else. So anyway, that was just something that I got out of Friday night. Was like, never do that.
Yeah.
If you're a Dart Talk listener and you're a regular listener of the show, if I hear that you did this, I'm going to be very upset with you. We give tips and stuff like that. Here's a tip that you can take to your grave. When you go to the line, be ready to throw 3 darts.
Regardless.
Be ready. Okay? Don't. Nothing is more aggravating to me than to see somebody throw a triple and then turn his head to see if it's in when he's on 419.
And he's got to throw it anyway.
You got to throw it anyway.
Keep going.
And if you don't know that, okay, I'm going to throw a cover.
Who
cares if it's in? Throw the next one. And then go look.
And then be happy that it was
What are you going to do differently?
Nothing.
Oh, my God. Well, it's a single. I'm on 4. Now I'm on 399. I better go 19s. What, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It drives me nuts.
No,
it just
I agree with you.
Absolutely stop doing that,
It doesn't
please.
matter whether it's in or not.
It doesn't matter. I get it that, you want to well, I'm just saying, don't do that,
well,
please.
I mean, the other reason too that even if
You're
it is
hurting
in,
yourself.
You're hurting yourself because if it is in, and then you throw, and you know it's in, then you throw the next one in, then the next thing that creeps into your head is, I can hit a ton 80.
Yeah, which
and
means you won't hit it.
Right.
But,
so if you don't know it's in and you just keep throwing them, you have a better chance of completing the ton 80 because you don't let your mind get involved.
Yeah, for the okay. Love of my life is going to hate me for saying this, but for you kids at home that are learning how to play darts, here's a good tip. Be ready to throw all three and throw all three. Don't get off the line unless you have to. Don't stop unless you have to. If you get confused, okay, double check your math or whatever you need to do, but be ready to throw all three. Have a plan. If you're playing like cricket, okay, have a plan. Okay,
if
I hit a single, I'm going here. If I hit a triple, I'm going here. If I miss completely, I'm going here. Know what you're going to do. Well, yeah.
If you hit trip 20 on your first start.
I mean, know what you're going to do before you go to the line. You got time to figure it out while the other person's at the line, right? Have a plan, and then, as we used to say in air traffic, stick with your pre-plan, because the ones on the fly don't always work so well.
Exactly.
Yeah, but anyway, as far as the 50 out with 2 darts in your hand, yeah, I see no reason ever to go with the bull. No reason whatsoever.
No. Not unless somebody pays you $100 to try it.
All right, that segment went a little long. Okay, we're going to take our last break. We'll come back with results from the Foothills Fling. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mark and Steve. We'll be right back. Okay, back for the fourth quarter, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators, Redwood Darts, and Jeff Dodson, who may be in the chat room for the bumpers. I'll get with you tomorrow, Jeff. I got some plans for you now. I like those. Mark loves them.
I do.
He likes the one with the harmonics. We played that earlier in the show. I'm not sure if you're in the chat room. Let's do the results from the Foothills Fling.
Foothills Fling.
We'll put you on that one.
This will not take as long as the Bullshooter.
Nothing could.
Friday night blind draw. Top 4, Peyton Moxley, Tom Hodgkins, Mickey Eldridge, Katie Sturgio, Heidi Channel, and Jeff Turner second. Sandy Haas and Jeff Ware first. You got 7-1 mixed trips. Top 4, Sherry Barnett, Wes Lippert, George Alvarado, Lisa Ayers, Matt Scroggs, and Pat Hewitt. Second place, Sandy Haas, Jeff Ware, Joe Cheney. First place, Sandy Hudson, Robbie Phillips, and Dan Naylor. Ladies doubles 501. Top 4, Sandy Haas, Lisa Ayers, Jen Snyder, and Mary Beth Culp. Second place, is that Kendra? Kendra McClellan.
Looks like it. Yeah, Kendra.
Katie Sturgeon with first place going to Sandy Hudson and Amy Tucker. Your men's singles 501, top 4, John Steinhofer, Robbie Phillips, Pat Hewitt second, Joe Cheney first. Your ladies singles 501, top 4, Lisa Ayers, Emily Rose Quayle, Sandy Haas second, Sandy Hudson first. Men's doubles 501, top 4, Joey Cheney, Jeff Ware, George Alvarado, Wes Lippert, Joey Hilton, and Elvidin Sebo second, with Dan Naylor and Robbie Phillips first. Mixed 501, top 4, John Schumann, Heidi Channel, Kelly Turner, Pat Hewitt, George Alvarado, and Sherry Burnett second, with Sandy Hudson and Robbie Phillips first. Your Saturday night blind draw, Elvidin Sebo, Chase Downing, Chris Stone, and Nate Mountjoy for top 4. Pat Hewitt, Greasy Grimes for second. Thomas Austin.
That can't be a real name.
No.
No way is that a real
Greasy
name.
Grimes. Thomas Austin and Robbie Phillips win that. Your mixed doubles cricket top 4, Amy Tucker, Jeff Turner, Tabitha Foster, Charlie Sturgis, Sandy Haas, Joe Cheney second, Sandy Hudson, Robbie Phillips win that. Ladies singles cricket top 4, Amy Tucker, Heidi Channel, Lisa Ayers second, Sandy Hudson first. Men's singles cricket, Lee Blair, Pat Hewitt, top 4, with Charlie Sturgis second and Joe Cheney. There's a shock. Winning that one.
Yeah, you haven't spelled his name right yet.
No. Your lady pairs, top 4, Valerie Olson, Bridget Warner, Julie Shepley, Jackie Quayle, with Amy Tucker and Sandy Hudson second, Lisa Ayers and Sandy Haas first. And your men's pairs, Joey Hilton, Elvidin Sebo, George Alvarado, Wes Lippert, top 4, with Dan Naylor, Robbie Phillips second, and Jeff Ware and Joe Cheney win that one.
Okay, and that was the Foothills Fling. Enough results for you this week?
That's a bunch.
I wanted to mention something about coming off a layoff. Mm-hmm. I saw, well, it wasn't alarming, but there were some people that took their results pretty hard. And they were talking about taking time off and stuff like that. And I only have one bit of advice.
Their results is in the fact that they didn't perform well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they underachieved, underperformed, however they would look at it. People disappointed. People work hard. You point to a tournament, you practice for it, you show up, you don't get the results. It stinks. Mm-hmm. We hate it. Everybody hates it.
Yeah.
I hate it. But the one thing that I have found that really helps me get over something like that is going back to my roots, which is I'll go to the first bar I ever threw at, or I will go back to something I used to do years ago.
Go back to L.A.?
Well, no, I didn't play in L.A. I played at Mullins on Western.
Right.
Which is like thrown in the dark, pretty much.
Yeah.
But, I'll walk into that place, and I will feel like I'm home, and I'll just throw, and, things, all the natural stuff that you do just comes back to you automatically. Mm-hmm. That's what I found. The other thing that when I first started playing, before I started going to tournaments, it was blind draws. I'd go to the Friday night blind draw. So going to the Friday night blind draw last week, I'm warming up, and I'm like, well, this feels like...
Get you a little tournament ready?
Well, not tournament ready. I mean, it gets you back to where you used to be in like a holistic sense. It like puts you in the mood. Like, I remember that guy. Because, when you've been playing years and years and years, you need to start thinking back to how you were when you were enthusiastic and how you were when you were all gung-ho to play and stuff. Because, people get burned out. Mm-hmm. I got burned out. And I got burned out just because I had traveled a lot and I had a gap in the schedule. And I'm kind of like, okay, I'm going to take some time off, deliberately take some time off, which I never used to do.
Right.
If I took a week off of darts like 3 years ago, I'd be like, holy cow, what's wrong with me? But now I'm just sort of like, oh, you need to mentally...
You're happy.
Yeah, you need to mentally, recharge. You need to get your enthusiasm back. Mm-hmm. You need to get some zip back in your arm. I mean, people go through dead arms at tournaments. I go through dead arms at tournaments where I've been playing, and I'll get to like Saturday afternoon, and all of a sudden, my arm ain't working right. You know, and it's, you got to, if you're in the middle of a tournament, you got to kind of fight your way through it, and it stinks because things don't feel natural, right? But that would be my advice to the people that are
Do you
getting
ever play
discouraged.
On a Saturday and you play a
like
lot,
that.
And then you wake up Sunday and you're just
feel
stiff.
Well, actually, for me, it's the other
elbow
way.
Is just really.
No, for me, it's like I'll play good on Friday night. Like if there's like a pro singles or something, and then Saturday I will just struggle all day long, event after event. But then Sunday I'll wake up, I'll feel great. My arm, no pain. You got to stretch stuff out. And, we should probably talk about that maybe on another show, like what stretches you should use for your arm. Because some of these tournaments, you saw how many events you got to play.
Yeah.
Well, when you're young, it doesn't really matter. When you get older, it's kind of like you need to kind of like, warm up slow and make sure everything's in the right place.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you're not hurting yourself.
I took a lot of time off, and I just went out just to throw for fun on a Saturday night. Sunday, I wake up, my elbow's sore.
Well, yeah, that's just sort of,
lack of use.
Yeah. Your what is it? Atrophy?
Atrophy.
Yeah.
Right.
Something's atrophy. And, ligaments are harder to stretch. Tendons are harder to stretch. Muscles are easy. It's all that connective stuff that can, throw you out of whack. And let me tell you, there's nothing worse than, having some sort of physical ailment, because what you do is it ends up affecting your stroke because you're trying to compensate for it, even if it's unconscious. And, now your whole weekend is a struggle. Right? So kudos to Sandy Hudson. She's been fighting through some.
That you can, anything that you don't let get into your head is going to help.
Well, yeah, but pain is pain. You cannot,
I know, but
there's a lot of people that I'll bet you, come Monday or Tuesday after, a long tournament, they're hurting. It depends. If you stand in a certain way, you're susceptible to back problems.
Sure.
If you throw in a
Your
certain
calf
way,
might hurt. Yeah, whatever.
you could have wrist and elbow problems. I've seen people complain about shoulder problems. That's why, last year, we were talking about what strokes to emulate, because the best thing about a good stroke is it puts the minimum amount of pressure on your body and on your arm and on your joints that you possibly can. It's just like, Chris Sale throwing across his body. How long can that, carry wood? Look at the way the guy throws a baseball. There's no way he's going to pitch 15 years throwing like that. He's going to throw his arm out of its socket, right? So you look at the guys with a natural delivery, and, it was nice. Oh, that was the other thing, was, I did get a chance to watch the Bullshooter online, because they had like a camera in the bullpen and on one other board, and then I watched the Dartslive. And, if you want to stream, look at Dartslive, look at how they do it, and then copy them, because just having a camera up and having people wander in front of there, and then, they're not even telling you what the match is. Top, it's King of the Hill, it's third place, fourth place. They weren't putting anything out there. There was like
They said a couple people throwing.
Yeah, well, they'd start a match, and you'd be like, well, what round is it? Because they're on the finals board, but obviously it's not a final. So you got to Facebook somebody, hey, do you know what round this is? It's silly. How can you not put something like that up there?
Right.
See, it's the attention to detail from a player's standpoint, where it always seems to me like the Bullshooter falls short. It doesn't seem to me to be a player-friendly tournament. And then you look at what Dartslive does, and they're nothing but player-friendly, and they're audience-friendly. And so it makes it watchable. So and they'll say best of 128, okay, first round.
Yeah.
Because they cap it at 128. Okay, best of 32, okay.
Right.
Now we're getting somewhere. Top 8, okay. Now let's see who's going to make the semi.
Yeah.
Yeah, how hard is it to put that up?
You always want to know what's going on.
Yeah, my gosh, how hard can that be? I wanted to talk some about webcam darts, and we're not going to get to it, but we will set you up. So here's the plan.
For
all you webcam dart people that are like posting comments on our
We were
thing.
supposed to do it last week. It didn't work out. My birthday got in the way.
Yeah, your birthday got in the way. So we're going to set Mark up is going to be our webcam guinea pig.
Yeah.
We're going to set up your laptop. I'll give you a webcam. You set it up at home. Go install their software. And Mark is just like a normal guy when it comes to computers. You know how to turn it on. You know how to click this, click that, but you're by no means like a programmer or anything.
Close. No.
So we'll see how easy it is
type
for
in
you.
the chat room.
Right. Well, we miss chat room girl. Yeah. But so you can join do their thing over the weekend, see what it's like, and then we'll talk about what the experience was like for you. For me, I see it being an advantage to some people, and probably more so to a certain type of player than another type of player. But I'm curious what the experience is like for you, and then we'll come back next week and we'll talk about webcam darts. We've been meaning to do it. I'm not blowing you guys off. We just we have other things going on, so we'll do that. Got anything else? Are we good?
Not that I could think of.
Thanks for not posting hockey scores. Please don't post them now. Okay.
Right.
We're doing good. I DVR'd it. I gotta
When do you go back to a tournament?
I am playing the PDC in Chicago in the middle of July, and then the week after that is Nashville, and I don't think I have to play
you have
before
nothing
then.
until the middle of July.
There's like a little tournament in Missouri in
Wow.
3 weeks that I've been to once that, if Jill wants to go, that I'll be like, okay, yeah, fine. But it's, like a $5,000 tournament or something. So, no, I started practicing again. I practiced yesterday. I'll practice tonight, and I'm starting to kind of put the wheels back on. It takes me a little while. I'm going to go to this Friday night draw. Mm-hmm. I'll start going to blind draws again just to kind of do that. And then, in a couple of weeks, I'll start looking for live bodies to spar with.
All right.
So I'm on track. I'm all about the North American Championship Tour. That's for me. That's the thing that I'm thinking is worth playing this year. I'm not going to as many of the kind of what you would call ADO style tournaments or ADO sanctioned tournaments. I'm not. I just don't, as much as I love the people and I love hanging out, to shell out $600-800 to travel to one to win $800 is sort of like, and then playing these ridiculous best of 3 diddle every leg. It's like, you want me to come to a tournament, you got to play for real. Mm-hmm. Long format singles, less events. I don't care about the prize money. I went down to Kentucky. I had a great time. But it was like round robin on Saturday and knockout singles on Sunday, stuff like that. This is what I think is worth traveling to. Mm-hmm. I've never, ever, even from 5 years ago when I first started traveling, I never saw the point to flying across the country to play best of 3, diddle every leg 501. It's not worth the plane fare.
Well,
it's not worth an 18-hour drive. It's just silly, and there's no reason to do it.
Right.
There's absolutely no reason for tournaments to do this except that they've always done it that way. And
that's... If the tournament does it that way, there's no reason to fly across country to go to it.
Yeah,
if it ends up being a local tournament and that's the way they want to run it.
Well, it's a free country. Yeah. You can run things the way you want, but it's like all these
people
don't expect
to get a lot of people to travel.
Oh, how many people do I hear complain all day long about Arachnid and the Bullshooter, and then I look and they're there. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, if you want your complaints to matter, you don't go to the tournament.
Right.
All right. Exactly. If you go to the tournament, then why should they change? Because
whatever
they do, you go.
They're not good.
So what do they care? Mm-hmm. Right? It's like,
if you get a turnout, you're not going to change.
If you don't like Big Macs, don't eat them. Mm-hmm. And if enough people stop eating them, they'll stop making them and they'll put in, something else. I don't know.
Right.
Whatever. It's just like as consumers, dart players need to be, kind of smarter. Here's the other thing. No, okay, we'll wrap it up just with this. I wanted to get to this ideal organization thing, and obviously there's no way we're going to get to it. So we'll do that next week. Let me make a note for that. And, you guys in the chat room that want to talk about 72 out, we'll do that next week, too. That's actually, I got something to say about that. So 72 out and ideal org. I'm making a note, since you'll forget, for next week.
Well, I can't read your handwriting anyway. So
I just want to ask you something, because I think that Americans, and I have no idea how things work in Canada, or in Europe, but Americans have been slowly become such poor consumers that they now work for free. Okay, I don't know when this started. When did you start bussing your own table at McDonald's? 20 years ago? 25 years ago? You bus your own table, right? You don't work there.
It started when they put the trash cans out so you could put the tray up.
But again, it's sort of like, is that a courtesy, or are you just a schmuck because you're doing McDonald's Corporation work for them for free?
It's called being nice.
Is that? I'm not sure it's being nice. I think it's being kind of a sucker. When you go to a decent restaurant, do you bus your own table? Why is McDonald's different?
Okay,
why is McDonald's you're going to bus your own table?
And
now it's all fast food.
It's fast food.
It's not that fast sometimes. I've waited in line for 20 minutes.
If you go to a decent restaurant and there's always a 20, 15-minute wait, if everybody bussed their own table, the wait wouldn't be so long.
Again,
but it's
they have people for this. What's next? You're going to clean the bathroom?
Have as many people.
Do you go to McDonald's and clean the bathroom?
That's a complete stretch.
Do you sweep the parking lot?
No, but do you like it? Okay,
I'll go back there and make my own burger. At some point, you got to draw the line somewhere.
Do you like going into the bathroom at McDonald's and
look? I'm not going to argue with you.
A toilet unflushed.
I am not going to argue with you about this.
Is there supposed to be a guy that goes in and checks to make sure that the people that can't flush their toilet?
I'm just saying, it's like at some point we've become suckers. That's all I'm saying. I mean, if you think it's a nice, polite thing to bust your own table, but you're only going to do it at McDonald's or Burger King, I don't get it. Okay? I really don't get it.
Do you return your cart to the proper place?
I think I do. I've been accused of not doing it, but yeah. And again, that's something. That's a courtesy to other drivers if there's a little thingy to put the cart in. But they have people to come and take 15 carts and shove them back into the. I don't do that.
No,
right?
But if there's a smaller business that doesn't have the cart holders,
McDonald's is not a small business.
They're
one of the biggest corporations in America, and their executives make 7 figures. Okay, and they pay minimum wage to their workers. Okay, hire another worker to bust the tables. Okay, give a high school kid a job. Why do I have to do it? I just paid for my food. This mentality is the same thing I see where like Sassy.
All you're talking about.
This tournament was horrible. There was this. But
we
had a good time.
All you're talking about is it's throwing your trash out.
I'm talking about you working for free.
Yeah. You're talking about throwing your trash out.
Maybe we should pay chalkers in steel tip tournaments.
There you go.
All right. It was just a stray thought I wanted to get out there, but okay. We're going to wrap it up. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks in the chat room. You can get the audio podcast at iTunes, at tunein.com, at stitcher.com. We're on Twitter, at Dart Talk. We will tweet more often pretty soon. And then our YouTube page, Dart Talk US. Search that. We have our own channel. We always put the video up there. If you subscribe, it'll tell you when it's up there. And then there's also links to Twitter and iTunes and stuff there, so you can get everything in one place until darttalk.us is an operational website, and then we'll start using that, and that'll be good.
All right. Sounds good.
Got anything else?
No. Thanks for listening.
Okay, thanks, everybody, for listening, and we'll Dart Talk to you next week. Take care.